I know it's been some time since my last video. I've been really busy and haven't had time to make new content. But I'm back now, and today I'm here to defend Freedom War from these absurd claims from the YouTuber Eclipse. First thing I want to start off with is that this video is in no way meant to outright hate on any of Eclipse's previous content. I just believe that he made some pretty stupid points for disliking the game and outright calling it terrible. The most egregious thing that I want to start out with is that he said this.
Why this game is extremely flawed, why it 100% deserves the low player counts, and I very rarely say that, and why I can say without a shadow of a doubt Attack on Freedom War is almost certainly not worth your time.
Saying that a game deserves a low player count, especially considering the amount of time that was put into it by the small team of developers on the game, is insanely disrespectful and wrong. You cannot be making a claim like that, especially when I'm looking at gameplay like this. Are we serious? I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's move on to the next point.
If you boot this up by yourself and just launch it to have some fun, you will spend probably 60 to 70%, if not more, not actually playing and watching other people play.
Now yes, I agree that this is a valid point, which is a flaw of the game's overall structure. However, this would really only apply to people who suck at the game and didn't learn anything from the tutorial, like our buddy Eclipse here, which I will get to later.
Now, the thing is that the Titans, the AI-controlled ones that is, are absolutely no idle threat, especially any of the aberrant Titans. While you can still absolutely do the same stuff that you can do in pretty much any other Attack on Titan game, cut out the legs for a free kill, cut out the eyes for a free kill, or just orbit around and take them out, the fact of the matter is, if you screw up even one time, you're definitely going to get killed.
So here, he acknowledges the fact that you can blind and cut the legs on Titans. Yet, despite being aware of the fact, and somehow not being able to see that orbiting a Titan is one of the most ineffective ways to kill them as a beginner, he still continues to try and do so, which is hindering his own experience of the game. And you can't give me the, well, he doesn't know any better because he's new to the game! Because, for starters, not only does he know that he can do this, but the game literally tells you in the tutorial that you are put in when you start the game. Look at how easy this was. By looking at how Eclipse plays, you'd think he was an actual side character that dies off screen and makes the Titans look like more of a threat than they actually are.
I think a lot of these problems could have potentially been avoided if the movement system in the game felt better to use, but it appears to have not really learned anything from any of the other games in the genre, and it suffers heavily for that. That, or it locks several very integral movement systems behind skill tree unlocks that you can't actually get, because if you die at any point during any of the missions, all of your skill progress gets reset back to 0.
He then starts talking about the movement system of the game, and how punishing dying is. But the reason why he keeps dying isn't because of the game. It's because of his own incompetence, and his failure to learn from his previous mistakes. If he took a second to ask himself why he was dying so much, and reflected for a moment, he would realize that the game was only punishing him for his stupidity. Like, yes bro, if you keep dying because you're doing the same thing over and over again, obviously you won't make any progress. He says that ODM gear has issues with gaining height and movement overall, but if he used his brain and looked at the skills in his skill tree, he would have seen Impulse, and thought, sounds movement related. But I need skill points. Where have I seen skill points before? Oh yeah, I managed to kill a Titan somehow earlier. But, the way I've been doing it doesn't seem that effective. Maybe I should try what the tutorial told me, see how that goes. Well, that was surprisingly easy. You get 1 skill point every 2 kills, so you only need 6 measly Titan kills before you can unlock Impulse, which immediately solves your issue.
And it becomes even less fun when you do get stuck in the middle of nowhere without a horse or without a carriage, and you're just sort of, well, stuck. That's because you're unable to grapple onto the ground.
Yeah, that's kind of the point. God forbid a game is supposed to be difficult. You're meant to make sure your horse doesn't die so that you're able to get from point A to point B. You even acknowledge that people would hook around anywhere at any time, and you point out that your gas is limited so your point becomes even more redundant.
You see, if you hold the hook key down and you don't attach yourself to something, it will toggle it on and buffer it until you find something to hook onto, in which case it will try to hook you onto it. This might sound good on paper, but in practice, it's terrible. And that's because in this game, your hooks both have a cooldown attached to them, so you can't just spam them out over and over again. They also take a certain amount of time to actually get to whatever you're hooking onto. When you couple all three of these factors onto each other, when you're trying to hook onto something, and then you're not close enough, so it doesn't work, and then your camera, because you're moving at high speeds, goes downwards and then latches onto something else, very, very, very often you will fire a hook that you didn't mean to shoot into a building, and then in order to try to offset that, you're going to want to try to shoot again, but you can't because you're still on cooldown.
The only reason why this is such a big issue specifically for you is because of your weird-ass playstyle. I've never seen anybody use both hooks together as consistently as you do. And obviously if you use both hooks instead of one, they'll both go on cooldown. Then he goes on this dumbass tangent about the doors in the game, which I'm not even gonna bother talking about because it just has to be rage bait. He proceeds to talk about how the game is just a waste of time because of his strange mindset and the game not holding his hand for long enough. As long as you have a somewhat functioning brain, the game should be pretty fun and not too difficult. Don't listen to this slander, go enjoy the game for yourself.